Our lesson for today will be looking at Physics 1505. We'll be looking at kinematics, which is linear motion. And then we'll be looking at the practice question, whereby we'll be looking at one of the questions to answer for this particular lesson video. Let us start. Normally, practice questions is when we look at one of the questions and then we answer them. So today we'll be looking at this particular question. The scenario says a ball rolls across a floor with an acceleration of 0.100 meters per second squared in a direction opposite to its velocity. So before we can continue with the scenario, let us look at the pictorial form of this scenario. So we have a ball which rolls. We can simply say we take positive as the right direction and negative as the left. So this particular ball, it rolls this direction, and then we know that its acceleration will be opposite to this particular velocity. And then the magnitude of the acceleration, some would say it's deceleration, it's 0.100 meters per second squared to the left. And then the velocity, we are not given so far, so let us continue with the scenario. The ball has a velocity of 4.00 meters per second after rolling a distance 6.00 meters across the floor. What is the initial velocity? So in this case, we have the initial velocity, which we don't know. And then we know that after some time, actually after a certain distance, which is 6.00 meters, the velocity at that particular point is 4.00 meters per second. So we are looking for the initial velocity. So in this case, looking at the data is the one which I've represented on this picture. Then we have few equations we can use in kinematics to solve this equation, this question. We have V final, which is just an equation for the acceleration. It was derived from the acceleration equation. But with this equation, we cannot really use it because we don't have time it takes to move that particular pair, and we are not looking for time. And then we also have another equation, which is Vf squared. It's equals to V initial plus 2, it's actually squared here, plus 2a displacement. In our case, we have distance. So our final velocity, we know very well that we have 4.00 squared. It's equals to the initial velocity is the one that you're looking for, plus 2. Since our acceleration is in the opposite direction, it will be negative 0.100, and then we know that our distance is 6.00. So in this case, we can start by punching this on the calculator, and then we are going to get, just to make the mathematic operation simpler, we are going to get a positive 1.2, and then we transpose it to the other side. We are going to have V initial squared is equals to 4.00 squared minus 1.2, and then from here we can take the square of this, it's minus 1.2, and then we take the square of these. And then we have v initial, it's equals to, we get that our answer is 4.15 meters per second. We are looking for the initial velocity, so we can say to the right or the positive direction. Remember, velocity is a vector quantity, so it must have magnitude and direction. So that's it for this lesson video. This is Wahula SJ. Thank you very much.